Peace, peace. Greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts. Family, make sure y'all hit the like button, share the video out. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. Hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can become a part of the notification nation and get notified every time Be the Power drops our dynamic content. Y'all know how we do over here at BTP. My brother Dre is in the building. What's going on, brother Dre? The freedmen, the freedmen are on deck. The freedmen are on deck. Let me drop, I don't know if I dropped the link in the chat for the bros to come on. Ibrahim is supposed to be coming on with me tonight. He did. I ain't gonna blow him up right now. Peace, Sister Shanna in the building. Brother Vince, good. Jabir, you, peace to the Freeman family. Of course, the Freemen are on deck. We're gonna talk about Kanye tonight. I know y'all seen the thumbnail. Everybody's talked about the Kanye thing, right? So we want to show that this thing is bigger than Kanye West. Peace, Miss Battle, Victor Colson. Let's go, let's get it in. This thing is bigger than Kanye West. And y'all can see why I titled it the way that I titled it. Matter of fact, let's get some Chiron action going on here. I guess it's more of a ticker because it's not actual live news. I don't know if that's how that works. I'm going to play a few videos. Just give me 1 second. Bear with me, fam. Bear with me. I'm going to play some things because it seems that only quote unquote blacks can be disrespected. And I use the term blacks for a reason. We over here, we're moving away from, this racial stuff. Peace, Real Gwen, Blessed Hands Incorporated. The OG Otis is in the building. We're moving away from this racial stuff. And it's so funny because I was zoning today and I was thinking about, coming out of the Moorish movement, because a lot of people are making a whole bunch of erroneous claims about the Moors are trying to take over. Like, they don't have nothing else. So they gotta come up with something. So that's one of the silly claims that somehow Moors and Hebrew Israelites are taking over the movement. Let me get this saved. There we go. Scrolling on the screen. It's idiotic statements that they come up with because they don't have nothing else. Root trackers, peace. I see you, sis. Peace, Sister Buffalo. I see you. The family is in the building. The family, make sure y'all click the like button. Make sure y'all share this out. I don't know why when I pull this up, it always does that. Let me stop here. It always does that. I don't know, but I wanted to kind of keep that image up while I was talking because it showed Kanye, right, Drake, and Sarah Silverman. Let's try that again. Let's do it this way. Now, this is important. There's a correlation here. We're going to dig, peace, Lama Bay. We're going to dig in some of this. I'm going to get back to my analogy, what I was going to state about the Moors. But there's some correlation between all three of these people. Ye had beef with Drake, which exposed, and I'm not sure, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, Drake's mother is half Jewish or is a Jewish woman. I don't know. I'm not sure. Y'all could correct me on that. And Sarah Silverman is definitely a Jewish woman. This picture came out of Drake when Pusha T, he got into the beef, and he did that. He did the, they had their little diss tracks going back and forth, and Pusha T hit Drake with the Thanos snap. And this image came out of Drake in blackface. Now Kanye, this dude is bugged out talking about white men are the most victimized people in America or the world, whatever that crazy, even Charleston White, who has made some pretty coonish, I gotta say it like B more in the hopes that I don't get struck, coonish statements, said that Kanye was bugging out. And now he need to go get him some wet from blah out in Chicago. Okay, Sister Shannon said yes. So that Drake's mother is, she rocks that 6-pointed star. So what's going on, brother Derek? I see you. Shout out to everybody that's listening in, man. So Sarah Silverman, she recently criticized Kanye. And in criticism, well, she was quickly reminded of the fact that she did blackface several times. This is just one of the images. There was a clip where she did, and she was walking around playing the guitar, and she says the N-word all freely, and then she bumps into like these two, I guess they were supposed to be thugs or street cats who jump up off their car. Like, what? It's like, hold up. What's going on? Blackface. There was one skit where she said, I look like the beautiful Queen Latifah. And there was this article. Let me stop sharing this. I want to artistic expression, right? And some people may not agree with me on this, but I want to share this because I think that it's important for us to make a distinction. Make sure y'all click like on the video. Make sure y'all share the video out. Peace, brother Charlie. So this article came out in the Telegraph. This is a UK news agency. And it said, why are liberal comedians so obsessed with blackface? And make sure y'all support the channel. If y'all want to support, y'all can use that super chat. Is the Cash App handle, Be the Power. It's also pinned to the chat. You could use the super chat. You could donate through the website, usadof.org. Why are liberal comedians so obsessed with blackface, right? And they show Sarah Silverman. And what sticks out or at you when, what sticks out about this picture, I should say, is that the way she's intentionally pouting her lips, right? Peace, Tazina, I see you. Okambi, Ifayori, I know who you are, Dante. Peace, what's going on, fam? Right? The way she's intentionally pouting her lips. This is just craziness. Because it's showing that she's intentionally trying to lean into the character. So let's scroll through this. And one of the things that they point out is when Jimmy Kimmel had on the makeup, right? And they said it was blackface, mocking black athletes. I didn't see it that way. And some of you may disagree with my take, right? This is egregious. The Shakespeare joint with the too polish, right? That's something different. What was that movie? The army movie? Was it Robert Downey Jr. when he dressed up as a black man or in black and he put the brown paint on as well, and his character was supposed to be black. I can't remember the name of it, but I wasn't offended by that. I wasn't offended by that. Let me stop this and reshare this image again. This is what offends me. Remember Eddie Murphy did the skit on Saturday Night Live. What was it called? White Like Me, I believe it was. Dave Chappelle does a skit where he's a Newport and he has the pale paint on. Tropical Thunder. Thank you, brother Derek. Tropical Thunder. That's the movie. I believe Robert Downey Jr. is the actor that got the brown makeup on. That doesn't offend me. And that's just me. I didn't see it as some bad taste thing where people were intentionally trying to be tropish. And let us put our fair use notice, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Thank you, Sister Shanna. BTP is in the building. They keep me on my toes. I want to give a shout out to my family that's holding it down, the members of the channel, and those who are here every time we go live. This offends me. Drake in blackface absolutely offends me. And he said it was for some play. And I'm like, well, what play? Because all across this country, white teachers are forcing freedmen students to freedmen and European American students, i.e., or e.g., black and white students, to play roles of slaves and slave masters. See, it's okay. Man, I meant to pull up that Dave Chappelle comment. Y'all give me 1 second. Y'all give me 1 second. I got to pull that comment up by Chappelle. Hold on. I don't think this one going to be monetized. I don't know if this one going to be monetized tonight. I don't know. Okay, so y'all remember I found the exact quote. Well, I don't want them to strike the channel, right? Which is crazy that I could say the N-word on the channel, but I can't say these other words. So Dave Chappelle, he speaks of, I think that was the Sticks and Stones stand-up, and he speaks to, that was Charles Thomas Howell. That's right, was in Blackface and the Soul Man. That's right. I remember Soul Man. That's right. That's right. In the 1986 movie. But I can't remember the movie to remember if it was like tropish, right? When I think about Tropical Thunder and things of that nature, even with what Jimmy Kimmel did, I think he was trying to impersonate Charles Barkley, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't offended by that, right? It's comedy. Our people do to white folks all the time. This is different. This comes from the minstrel shows that became really popular during the time of Jim Crow. This comes from Birth of a Nation, where these European Americans, aka white folks, put black paint on their faces to pretend that they were black men, the Negroes that were raping white women, and how the Klan had to be this extrajudicial arm of the law that came to be liberatory when it came to white women, obviously because regular white men were too weak to protect their own wives. So they had to give birth to this hate group, the Ku Klux Klan. They would be the tide of justice to stamp out black men who lust after white women and just go inside and just rape them off of a whim, which was just a bunch of lies. All of that stuff was cool. Can do all of this. They said Sarah Silverman lost a movie role. She didn't lose billions. What did Kanye lose? Let me pull up some stuff. And I'm going to pull up some core. Let me close that. Oh, I should have left that. I should have left that tab open. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Let's pull this up. Let me put the link in the chat first. Issa El Makdi said, peace, we need to all support Ye. Let me tell you, man, I was willing, no, I'm not letting nothing Ye say slide at all. That's first and foremost. All right, that link was too big for me to share for whatever reason. I don't know why. Oh, that's because I'm using the Newsbreak app. Okay, well, anyway, the article says Kanye West no longer a billionaire as net worth drops to $400 million after Adidas deal termination, Forbes say. Now, Kanye was on Drink Champs. On Drink Champs. And he said that Adidas was, Adidas couldn't cancel him. Adidas, they can't cancel me. Boy, oh boy. Dealing with some powerful people right now. And because of the comments that Ye said about George Floyd, that was strike number one with me. But once I understood the quid pro quo that happened, I didn't absolve him at all. But the public enemy in me, although they turned their backs on Professor Griff, when the same type of situation with the same people, the Jews, arose, they turned their back on Griff. The fight the power in me arose. And I was like, you know what, man? Although he disrespected George Floyd, and hopefully the family get not just $250 million out of him, but another $250 million out of Candace Owens. All right. The rest of this stuff, I don't like. And then this guy goes on and says that white are the most discriminated against in the country or the world. One of them two. Both are lies. I get one wrong. Doesn't matter. They're both lies. Absolutely. So Issa El Makdi said Ye can open up his own bank and open up lines of credit to the community for business ventures. This time I need Brother Josh on to go in. Everybody got their strengths and their weaknesses on the team. My weaknesses, I can't necessarily explain how banks operate and the capital needed. Like, I could give you a basic breakdown. My brother like Josh, he could go in, right? Brother Ibrahim, they could go in detail on how banks operate and how they use capital, not their own capital, to start their banks and start issuing lines of credit. That's not how that works, Brother Issa El Makdi. It's not how it works. Let's see. So let's get into some of what I want to get into. I know what I want to get into, right? Because I said that. Let me see if I have all of this stuff pulled up. I want to get into. I was going to teach tonight too, and I might get into the Hermetic hypothesis and there's some of the suggestions that I've made, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So I want to start with a statement that Trump made. Just posted on the 16th. This was literally posted last week. And it was shared by Yaakov Katz. Judging by the name, this man is Jewish. Let's share this. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, that like button, fam. Make sure y'all share this joint out. We're going to talk about some stuff tonight. Yaakov Katz. Yaakov Katz says, nothing to see here, just a former U.S. president using threatening language about American Jews at a time when anti-Semitism is on a global rise. See what Trump said. No president has done more for Israel than I have. Somewhat surprisingly, however, our wonderful evangelicals are far more appreciative of this than the people of the Jewish faith, especially those living in the US. Now, this is an interesting dynamic. I'm going to get into it a little bit. Those living in Israel, though, are a different story. Highest approval rating in the world could easily be prime minister. U.S. Jews have to get their act together and appreciate what they have in Israel before it's too late. Now, Yaakov believes, let's read what he said, just a former U.S. president using threatening language about American Jews at a time when anti-Semitism is on a global rise. So, something key that Trump, because I'm gonna break down anti-Semitism after this, and then I'm gonna still get back into what I was saying about the more. So y'all bear with me. I'm like losing my point. Sometimes you get distracted and you jump into the next point and you forget that you was making a point, but another thing popped in your head and you get to that and you forget about the point that you was trying to make. But I'm gonna try to get back to it. So bear with me. So he says, however, our wonderful evangelicals are far more appreciative of this than the people of the Jewish faith. Now, for those of you who watched a documentary on Netflix called The Family, for those of you who have read a book, I still haven't gotten through the book. The first couple of chapters is so horrific. It's called White Too Long. I forget the author's name, but I have it on Audible. White Too Long. And there are several articles that I've read, published in, those liberal news agencies, Raw Story, right? The evangelical right. That's a term that we're familiar with. These are the people that burned freedmen at the stake. And as freedmen were burning, they were screaming out, glory, at a time called redemption. Let me pull my brother Dre's comment up for my brother Issa El Makti real quick. Banks leverage other capital, not their own. Your deposits provide excess capital for them to loan and invest in holdings and real estate, which is a fact. The interest rate off the money that you put in those banks go to fund banks in their ventures. Like I said, I don't want to get deep into that, but that's not how it works, brother Issa El Makti. Peace, brother D. So the evangelicals, as they're called in this country, the extreme Christian right, there's several names for them. Many of these people will not only bear crosses, they will also bear swastikas. It's one of the weirdest things. And Trump's statement is weird. It's like, I don't know if swastikas is okay to be hoisted in Israel. I don't think so. I wouldn't think that. But somehow, many people on the evangelical right in this country, they will hoist their crosses, their crucifixes, and their swastikas. Some hold them in equal regard. Rather interesting dynamic. What's the name of the Nazi party? Isn't it the Nazi wasn't it called the Nazi Socialist Party or something like that? Socialist. I know socialist is in the name. Y'all forgive me for my lapse in memory. That happens sometimes. But I believe socialist is in the name of Nazi. And that when you break it down in the English, Nazi Socialist Party. I could look it up if I want, but Somebody in the chat help me out. Somebody in the chat help me out. Yes, Rob Smith said, peace, fam. That show, The Family, is a much watch. Prayer breakfast. Whoo, that the prayer breakfast. I had no idea. I had no idea until I watched that documentary, The Family. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. Okay, National Socialist. National Socialist Party. That's what it is. I'm saying Nazi Socialist Party. I knew I was saying it wrong, but I just couldn't get the words out. Ali has the whole name. National Socialist German Workers' Party. That is the whole name. Thank you. Thank you. Find the term socialist there. And the people on the right, when the Democratic Socialist candidates are running, they'll say, he's trying to bring socialism. It's like, yeah, dude, but you holding up a whole swastika flag that represents socialism. I don't, anyway, there's just some confusion going on there with our fellow American citizens on what's called the extreme right. Let me see. Where do I want to go next with this thing? Okay, that's right. We bring up Sarah Silverman. Yeah, she loses a movie deal, but she's still alive and kicking to go at Ye. Like the hypocrisy to go at Ye. But this chick has done blackface so many times, saying I look like the beautiful Queen Latifah. See, that's trope. Let me put that back up real quick. See, this is trope right here. Her blackface, that's trope. The intentional pouting of the lips. She is trying to lean into this trope, this disrespect of our people. That's why I propose. They have a term called anti-Semitic, which I'm about to get to. Matter of fact, let me get to that first. In the biblical narrative, Ham is the son of Noah. And some of y'all heard me break this story down before, but I'm going to break it down in this context, right? In the biblical codex writers, I'm not a Christian. I was never into Christianity. I was born a 5%er. I was born on the side of Islam, right? But I know the Bible a little bit. So Ham, okay, let's start the story. There was, and I've told this story before, so I'm gonna tell it again. I like telling this story. There was unrighteousness in the earth. And God was grieved. Right? This is the biblical narrative now, that his creation, human beings had gone awry. And so he gets message to Noah to build an ark, because the Bible said that Noah was perfect in all of his generations. And in the land, there was drunkenness and debauchery and all forms of sin. And so Noah was told to go and build an ark because the God of the Bible was going to flood the whole world. And so Noah began building the ark, and he was mocked and ridiculed by the people of the land because he's building this boat on dry land, a boat that wouldn't even make it to the sea because it's too big. Not big enough to hold every animal in the world. That we know that part is impossible. Those of us that could look at it for the allegory that it is, we see it for just that and understand the wisdom that is being relayed. Some people take it literal. That's your religion. And so Noah builds the ark, and he gathers his sons and their wives and 2 of each animal in the world. Now, I want y'all to bear with me. The rains come, and it rains for 40 days and 40 nights, and the whole planet is flooded. And when the floods recede, the flood water, I don't know where the water goes. If the whole planet is flooded past the tops of mountains, the highest mountains in the world, there's not enough sunlight to evaporate that water. That water would essentially maintain itself due to the Earth's gravitational pull. I'm no geologist or scientist, it's just common sense. You're adding something. When there are torrential rains in an area, it can cause sea levels to rise. It can cause pools and rivers to overflow. We've seen that happen. But what happens when it rains for 40 days and 40 nights, torrential rains, in the way that the Bible says? Anyway, we could speculate on that all day. I'm not attacking anyone's religion. So the waters recede, and the dove, I believe it is, I don't know if it was a dove or raven, comes back with, I believe it was a sprig of acacia. I could be wrong on that. And that's how they know that the waters are receding. And the next thing you know, the ark is on dry land. The first thing Noah does when he gets off the ship was he plants a vineyard. I'm going somewhere with this, and I want y'all to walk with me. He plants vineyard. And when the grapes get ripened, he crushes those grapes and he turns them into wine. For 40 days and 40 nights, Noah, and we can speculate, is not on this ship being saved from the fate of the rest of the world, thinking about what not to do. The first thing Noah does when he comes off of this boat is plants a vineyard and gets wasted. He gets drunk. A drunken stupor. So much so that he's butt naked. And his son, Ham, walks into the tent. And I should have had my definition of Ham pulled up. I might pull that up later. Ham walks into the tent. He sees that his father is naked. His father is drunk. And Ham is like, oh, just like anybody else would walk in and see their father or parent naked. He's like, oh, let me back up out of here. Like, I didn't know dad was in the tent naked. Noah wakes from his slumber. Monty Burns said that Noah story was stolen. Yes, we find earlier versions of that story with the flood. People forget, we come out of the conscious community as well. And I'm thinking about starting up I have another channel, Lord Abba, and I'm thinking about getting back into teaching on that channel. I don't know yet, but I'm thinking about, today had me thinking about it. And so Noah awakens from his drunken stupor. And somehow he realized that one of his sons saw him naked. And he yelled out, who saw me naked? And Shem and Japheth. And I want you all to think about Shem. Put a pin in Shem, because he becomes, this eponymous character becomes important in this anti-Semitism thing. So Shem and Japheth, they both point to Ham, and he did it. And then Noah says, cursed be Canaan, because you saw my nakedness. Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. I believe that's Genesis chapter 9, verse 25. I believe. It's been a while since I had to dredge up Bible verses and Quranic verses, etc. So I might be a little off, but I believe it's Genesis 9:25. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm different. I can stand to be corrected. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have no problems with saying that I'm wrong about anything. Canaan is the fourth son of Ham. Canaan is the fourth. Canaan, according to the biblical timeline, and we got to assume, isn't even born yet. Why did Noah, who obviously had the power of God, I want you all to think about this, because I'm going somewhere with this story. And I want you all to share this out to people, because this is deep. And I don't mean deep in a way like, yo, I'm talking some deep, deep stuff. It's psychologically deep what was done to us. Why did Noah, who obviously had the power of God, skip over all of Ham's other sons? I can't even think of their names right now. Cush is one of them. I used to know all of this stuff by heart. Forgive me, family. It's been a while. I'm deep into this political reparation space, and that's where my focus is at. But Canaan is his fourth son. We got brother Ibrahim chiming in. I'm going in, Ibrahim. Just give me a brief second. Give me a brief second. And Ham is excluded from this picture now. And the biblical focus is placed on Canaan. I'm not going to go deep into that part. If I start teaching on my other channel, then I'll get deeper. I'll really break that stuff down, because it's something that people need to hear. I'm not going to get deep on it now. I just want people to understand the psychology of what's going on. Cursed be Canaan. I got to shout out to my brother Marcel. I got to bring you up, brother Cato. I seen a thread some months back that Cato did, and he was like, the Canaanites weren't black people. And it was in response to a thread that somebody did. And we came into this space with a well of knowledge. We didn't come in as political newjacks either. Like I said, I shared on my Twitter wall a discussion that I had, an interview that I had 7 years ago with the politician on Moorish Science Radio, which was when I had my Blog Talk radio show. And the title was Why We Need Political Unity, or something like that. And I was riding on BLM 7 years ago. I was shocked to hear that I was riding on BLM 7 years ago. Anyway, we didn't come in as no political newjack. I want to stress these points. But historically, and if somebody challenges me on it, y'all know how we do over here. Mr. Just the Facts, BTP pulls up the references. Y'all already know. I'll pull them all up. Historically, the Canaanites were a black people, as we're called, quote unquote, so-called black people. Y'all know I'm not a fan of that term black. I've been saying that since we've been doing BTP, because ain't nobody black. My shirt, my hat is black. My skin is brown, as you can clearly see. That's for all these people that keep, that want to say, I was the first black person to do this, and I was the first black person to do that. And they want that to stick. So they create debates and back channel beefs with us about a bunch of nonsense that they would never, ever be able to stand on publicly. Anyway, Alexander Stephens, who was the vice president of the Confederacy during his cornerstone speech in South Carolina, I forget the year. Was it whenever? I think it was the secession speech, and I can pull it up. Y'all have seen me, those that have been following this channel, y'all have seen me pull up all of this stuff that I'm speaking about. I just don't want to pull it up right now and read. I want Ibrahim to cook because I'm going somewhere with this. Ibn Khaldun, some historians say that he was the Islamic Strabo. For those that know, was it no, not Strabo? Was it Strabo? Who wrote the histories? I think that's Strabo. Famous Roman, Greek, Hellenistic historian. And they called Ibn Khaldun the Islamic version of, I believe it was Strabo. I could be saying the wrong person. The writer of the histories. That book is not in here. It's another one. That's right. That's right, Ali. That's right. Right. And so, okay, it was Strabo. Okay. And I'm rusty on some of this stuff, y'all. Y'all got to bear with me a little bit. I'm a little rusty. Some claim that Ibn Khaldun was a Jewish convert into Islam. And in that, he brought these bigoted, religiously woven stories with him. And instead of saying Canaan, he said the curse was on Ham. Alexander Stevens says that due to the fact that the curse was on Canaan and that Canaan does represent the Negro, and he was absolutely right, absolutely historically correct. The biblical narrative twists it into something else. That we were fit only to be servants. Why? Because it says, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. I spoke of Shem. Shem was the brother of Ham and Japheth. And Shem is said to be of the Semitic, right? He's the father of the Semitic people. That there's a problem here. Because Arabs, and I mean what some scholars call the false Arabs, the people that you see over there today, they adopted that name. I think the term was Musta'aribi or something like that. The false Arabs, because the real Arab they looked like us. There's Sevri Herodotus. Is it Herodotus? Yeah, it is. I think it is Herodotus that wrote the histories. Yeah. I think they call Ibn Khaldun the Islamic Herodotus. I believe. But I believe you're right, Jabir. Now, Shem, when you look at the earth sources, and like I said, I'm not going to go into everything tonight. I'm just going to touch on some stuff. The earlier Jewish scholars, when they were giving their breakdowns to these eponymous characters, etiological myths, they said that Shem was blessed, black, and beautiful. There's two sources, and I have them in my notes, in my little articles and stuff that I wrote all the way back in 2014. Where am I going with this? Just bear with me. Just like Canaan was distorted in the Bible, so was Ham. These are historical people, the people of Ham and the people of Canaan. This is why in the genealogy, it shows that Ham is the father of Canaan. Some historians, they dispute that. I have sources that show that Ham was actually a city inside of ancient Canaan. I ain't going to get into all of that. But we need to start galvanizing. That's why I said I'm going to start teaching again. Because the term racist is so watered down now, it can be reversed on people. You can call somebody a racist and they'll say that is so racist of you to say. You know, the mirror, the mirror effect from the 48 laws of power. It's watered down. You say something about a Jew, it's anti-Semitism. Well, we need to use a term, I believe. This is my proposal. Anti-Hamitic. And I can get deep, and I am. I don't know. I want to start up my other channel and get back into those types of teachings again, because all of this stuff weaves into our politics, family. Peace, Sister Renee. All of this stuff weaves into our politics. So Muffet Nellen says, can no one else see how ridiculous it is to classify an entire people Semitic based on a fictional character? These very people and cultures existed thousands of years before the Bible. Exactly. The people that are Arabs are Semitic. Anybody that speaks those languages, peace, Conjure Chris 9, anybody that speaks those languages. No, not anti-Hermetic, anti-Hamitic, Ham. Okay, so I think I just got it all wrong. Let me see. Abu al-Hassan Ali ibn al-Hussein al-Masudi, historian and traveler known as the Herodotus of the Arabs. Okay, I got that. I got that all wrong. But I think I was hitting at it, Ali. I was hitting at it. Jabir said, wow, he made it about Semitic and Hamitic today. So I'm putting this proposal out there. And I want you all to ponder on it. Because there's some deep implications about us being the people of Ham. Sorry, my Hebrew Israelite brothers. What you say about Ham is wrong. And I've had these debates on Sadnet's channel, and nobody has ever refuted my stance. Nobody. So, yeah, anti-Hamitic Jesse Paris for Denver mayor. If you're really a mayoral candidate, let's build on the. No, I don't know if you got a Twitter account, but hit me up. Let's build. Let's chop it up. Let's chop it up. So I just wanted to propose that. I wanted to build that story up, which came from out of the Bible. I wanted to show how Ham and Canaan, these are ancient cultures that the Yahwists borrowed from to create Yahweh, which was one of in a pantheon of gods in ancient Canaan. That sect somehow took over. They formed militarily, took over the region. So when you see Joshua in the Old Testament, go to, I think that's the book of Joshua, where it says, and Joshua slew 31 Canaanite kings and removed their head. This part of the story in the Bible is actually true. And like I said, we might get into that. And Ali brought up that Kanye said we are Shemites, right? And that line crosses between Ham and Shem because, well, they're brothers. They're brothers. I don't know. Just talk about this makes me want to get back into my zone, man. And I'm gonna turn it over to my brother Ibrahim. Brother Ibrahim, whenever you're ready, jump in. And cook and let's go. Let's finish this Kanye thing. Let's bring it back. I think I went a little too religious on him. But the point was to show peace. Asim Majet. Like I said, I never know if I'm saying that name correct, but peace. Let me see. Jesse Paris for Denver mayor said, yeah, my election is in 2023. You remind me of my friend out here in Denver, Krista Mata. Yo, that's right, Josh. Kanye also said he was about to go ham. That's a fact. All right, we could get, We could get deep into this thing. Like this, we come out of all of this. And if you don't think that this undergirds our political and economic position in this country, you are sadly mistaken. I don't know. Maybe we could do a BTP breakdown. I have to get Grim on here with me. We have to bring Grim out, go in. Yeah, go ahead, brother Ibrahim.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of interesting things happening this week. I came in the house and I was seeing the interview by Piers Morgan, and I was just thinking, like, man, all of the black podcasters had to take their Kanye West interview down or not air it at all, right? Um, some interviews we even I, that was Kanye West. He was on Drink Champs before they was asked to take it down or forced to take it down, and he was saying that he had did this interview on Math Hoffa, and that Math Hoffa had never aired it, and I thought that was interesting. And then you seen um LeBron James is them called the shop, where they talk in the barber shop. He was recently on the shop, and I guess because of some things he said, they were unable to air it as well. And then you seen the retraction of the drink champs with Noriega. And it's just interesting to know that only the black people is asked to take it down, right? The white people get to interview Kanye and they get to ask whatever questions they want to ask. They get to push back if they want to push back. They get to let him rant if they just want to let him rant, but they don't have to take the interviews down. And what you see now, Kanye West is still doing interviews. I woke up this morning and went on Twitter, and you see the feminists. The feminists was going crazy because of some comments that Kanye West made, as if Kanye West doesn't always make outlandish comments. And they were basically saying, hey, he's saying this because Kanye West represents black men, and black men want to be the new white man, and this is why we have to keep our foot on the necks of black men, right? It's like I guess if we destroy black men, we destroy white supremacy, or at least the aspirations of wanting to be new white supremacists. But nobody ever brought up Candace Owens, right? Kanye told you, right, from the one interview that I was able to watch of Kanye, it's hard watching Kanye sit there and rant. To me, Kanye is the new Dennis Rodman, right? Nobody equates anything Dennis Rodman ever did with black community. They knew Dennis Rodman was an individual. He was always an outlier. And when he did this crazy, nonsensical thing, they just said, oh, that's Dennis Rodman. And that's kind of how Kanye West is, except they keep want to pull him and attach him to the black community, which he's been running away from since Donda West died. But that's
That's
another
right.
story. I digress. But anyway, so Kanye starts the interview off telling Noriega, I don't read. He told him I don't read. It's hard for me to listen to a person that don't read, because if you don't read, where you getting your information from? So if he don't read, who do you get your information and knowledge from? Where you get it from? The people that surround you, right? You get it from the little memes on the internet and whoever's around you that's talking good. And one person we know that's always around him, right, or that has been around him recently when he says some outlandish things is Candace Owens. Candace Owens just came out with a whole documentary. Nobody's going at Candace Owens, right? People like all the white supremacist networks that allow Candace Owens to sit around and spew her nonsense and say the things that white people can't freely say without getting some heat. Candace Owens is there and she's saying them, right? From anti-black misandry to black racism to even anti-Semitic comments, right? Candace Owens right now, she gets the free reign to say those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting on who can say these things and who can't. Kanye West said, now I know Kanye West has a bigger platform, he has more money, so if you was to sue him, you would get more, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's not, somebody who's poor. She's not somebody who's without a platform. She's not somebody who's non-influential. It's just interesting to, even as we see, the brother Kanye West being taken down, you still see, there's a gender wars playing in that. And I think it's important to say, as we have these discussions around what's going on, because it's a lot of lessons to learn from this. We can have a discussion about Kanye West, and we can have a discussion about anti-Semitism, anti-black misandry, racism, and just where the black community stands in America. And we can have all of these conversations together and still not be defending Kanye West. I think that's where a lot of people got it confused with the Bill Cosby situation and the R. Kelly situation. Every time you spoke to the incident, they basically put you on, hey, you're either team I'm going for or team I'm going against, right? And it's like, no, this is a layered conversation that we want to have, right? All right, now to the billionaire thing, right? And this was my peeve, right? This was always my peeve. And recently Jay-Z, he goes to Twitter. He goes to Twitter and he has a conversation with Khalid, DJ Khaled and Ari Melbourne, and just a whole bunch of other stands that's just on there, rooting him on as he's just embellishing these lies. And one of the comments that he made was, the house of billionaires that he was able to create. Him, Ye, Rihanna, and he even goes and adds LeBron James in, right? As if LeBron James followed the rap billionaire blueprint, right? Historically, there's only four ways to become a billionaire, right? Either through owning a monopoly, insider trading, getting a large inheritance, or lobbying politicians, right? What you see with the billionaire list, because white folks have been billionaires for over 100 years, that white folks have so much money that they're now creating a fifth way you become a billionaire. And that's what, by being a glorified employee of a billionaire and marketing billionaire products. Black billionaires, for the most part, don't own means to productions, right? They're not capitalists. They're just glorified employees. They don't own nothing. Compare Kanye West, right? Yesterday till today to Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling owned the Los Angeles Clippers, right? When he said that racist stuff he said to his girlfriend and she recorded the conversation about Magic Johnson, he owned the Clippers at that point, right? And they had to push him out of the industry. They had to push him out of the NBA. And one way they did that, they had to buy his asset that attached him to the NBA, which was the LA Clippers. But because he owned that asset, they had to buy it above market value. So even though we want to get you out of here, we understand you're a businessman, you're a billionaire, you're an owner, you have assets. We just can't take it. Now, if this was another country, if he was a citizen of another country, they would have just dropped a bomb on him or sniped him. But because you're an American, you got an American rights. They bought his assets. They bought the Clippers above market value. I think at the time they was worth like 1.4, 1.6, and they bought it for 2 billion just to get him up out of there. Right now, if you look up Donald Sterling, you'll see he's doing great. He's worth a little bit over $4 billion, right? He still owns a bunch of property. He owns a bunch of real estate in California, especially in LA. That hit didn't do anything to his wealth. What you see with Kanye West, right? And what I mean about these glorified employee billionaire is all of his money or most of his money was tied to Adidas, right? It was tied to the pumping up of assets of Adidas. Yeah, Yee was a hot shoe, but Kanye West wasn't making Yeezys, right? He didn't own a sweatshop. He didn't have some type of connection to cotton. He wasn't able to, go to different countries and negotiate, cheap labor rates that would allow them to mass produce his shoes and ship them over here. You know, only thing he did was sit back and have some opinion on the design, right? And when he wanted to drop them, and things of that nature. These 50-50 ventures that they be talking about is never a 50-50 venture, right? This is something that Dame Dash got popular with when he always said, I didn't work for Def Jam. I partnered with Def Jam. Nah, if you partnered with Def Jam, they would have never fired you because you never would have been an employee, right? And this is not to go against Dame Dash or any black businessman, because understand we haven't done the politics. We haven't done the politics to get what's rightfully owed collectively, I'll say, we haven't collectively done the politics to get what's rightfully owed to us in America, right? So what you see is these outliers that have money here and there, but it's never a community. It's never a community uplift. So when you take a hit as an outlier, you just take it on your own, right? So you see these people, right? And you can go down the list. When you look at Jay-Z, he's connected to Jack Dorsey, who was previously the owner of Twitter. I don't know if he still owns it, but now you understand why Jay-Z showed up in a Twitter Spaces group talking about his new song and not on Facebook or Instagram. When you look at Rihanna, Rihanna company is tied to Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, and the guy that owns that company is the second richest man in the world, right? He has the control of all of the assets and how things is mass produced. Kanye was tied to Adidas. When you look at LeBron, LeBron is tied to Phil Knight and Nike. Even if you want to go further to Michael Jordan is tied to Phil Knight and Nike. I mean, we just haven't been able to get into industry and control industry and work our way up like other groups have. And that's interesting, even when you talk about getting into industry and control industry, because we know the government always marginalize us. And and just compare that, because for all intents and purposes, Donald Sterling religiously, and he was identified as a Jew, right? When you read Mahersha Bharadwaj's book, Color of Money, she has a section on there how the Jews was able to come over into Europe and be able to take over certain industries like the garment industry, like small claims court and doing litigation work because WASP didn't see that work as valuable. They kind of seen it as like, lower class work, and they will allow um, Jews to be able to do the litigation. And then when no fault divorce and America went from like this big corporate power that sues people to just small individuals suing people, and you can litigate in court, that community was able to, have a stronghold in that for a decade or plus. Even them being able to get into school, right? She has a section in her book where she says, they were able to go to NYU for free, and so many Jews went to NYU. They used to call it Jew York, right? So we haven't had those opportunities. What you see now is America trying to put in a cheat code, right? This black girl magic and black boys joy to pluck people up from our community. I like to compare it to Katniss Everdeen and the Hunger Games, right? Where you just have this grave poverty, grave destitute areas, and then you just take a few people, pluck them up, put them on stage, and they're supposed to represent the rest of society that's been marginalized, and all of those poor marginalized people can live through them. So these are just interesting things to, when you go through this. Kanye has no wealthy community to lean back on and to help him right now because we don't own means of production. And that goes from our billionaire classes down to our working poor classes. In another community, they could have said, look, Kanye, Adidas is not going to make your shoe. They're not going to mass distribute it. We can do it on a smaller level. And we got a few shops we'll put it in because we know I'm not a fan of Yeezys, but we know as long as he produces them shoes, we gonna buy them, right? Because we don't care about some of the rhetoric he's been spewing. The worst thing that ever came out of his mouth was aimed at black folks, right? He said things 10 times worse to our community that he said to other communities, right? And people still bought his products. They still bought his shoes, as ugly as his shoes was, as raggedy as his clothing was, and as crazy and as voiciously wrong as he is, people still support him. We could have said like, "Hey, Kanye, we'll still make them. We ain't gonna be able to make them at the rate of Adidas, but we can still make them. We can still exclusively sell them in certain stores. As far as your distribution deal with Def Jam, we got a couple radio stations. We'll still play you here. We got a couple venues you can come do shows on, and we can, sustain you as you go through this and take the time to get back to where you once was, or even if you get back. But we can't do none of that, and that speaks to us. We're all a working class. And I'll say this economic lynching you see of Kanye West, this is not for us. This speaks to the blacks who've been handpicked by white capital, right? This speaks to them. This is a way to get them in line, right? Even those who are in line saying, hey, if you're rich or if you aspire to be rich, this is what you want to do, right? And that's what a lynching was for. It wasn't just for the person, it was for the purpose of keeping the system intact, right? It was supposed to a fear-based event that shared ripples through our community and kept, you know, just that system of injustice intact and kept us beholding and in fear that one day that can happen to you. Make note, all of these so-called billionaires in our community is sitting back and they're watching it. And they're taking notes, and their people are saying, "Hey, I need to cut ties with Kanye. Hey, I need to make sure y'all on y'all best behavior right now. If you want to get to this point, hey, never do what Kanye West do." And that's what this serves as. I want to say, you know, they keep coming out with this fourth list saying, oh, we got like 7 black billionaires, we got this many black billionaires, but none of these black billionaires got billionaire assets, right? You see Byron Allen, who has assets. You see Peoples, who has billionaire assets, and it's one more. Bob Johnson has billionaire asset. Everybody else is just entertainers propped up marketing products that get boosted up, and you know, just it goes up and down on the stock market. You even seen with Discovery and Oprah, right? Discovery owned 50% of Harpo Production. And they told Oprah when they was done with her, look, we're gonna give you 70 million for another 25%. I'm like, hold up, 70 million? That's 280. That's not a bill. You was telling me this woman was worth multi-billions of dollars and her business was worth at least $1 billion. 70 million don't give you, it's not a quarter of a billion. It should at least been 250. But you see this like their assets is connected to a company, and that company gets to dictate what it's worth. So if Adidas says, hey, you know, Yeezys is worth X amount of business, and you know, over the next few years we anticipate that we're going to do this amount of money, they can value Kanye at, you know, a billion or 2 billion or whatnot. That money never touched his account. When Chase kicked him out of the bank, they said he left with $150 million. Now, don't get me wrong, he got way more money than most of us will ever see in our lifetime, right? And if he's smart, he'll get with an accountant and start shoring up some things. But the point being made is that, and this is a hard thing to say, you know, he says a lot of wrong things, but you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. And he pointed out some things, and you've seen the wrath of that community come down on him in a way that it has never came down for saying anti-black racist things. And I'll just end on this note, you know, because they made it seem as if it was about the George Floyd fentanyl reason that he gave for his death. But depending on what spaces you in on the internet, people say things about George Floyd all the time, right? One, and we're not gonna play a clip of him, but I'll just tell you, one being Charleston White, right? Charleston White never lets a moment go past for him to go at George Floyd, right?
That's right.
Just to excite our community and get us riled up. Matter of fact, last week he's into it with T.I. son and T.I. And he tells T.I. son, you know, if I see you on the street and you think as an 18-year-old boy you're gonna do something to harm me as a 50-year-old man, I'm gonna turn into Zimmerman and I'm gonna do you like Trayvon Martin, right? This is what he tells him, right? All those videos is still up on Say Cheese. Those videos is still up on Charleston White page. Nobody contacted him and said, hey, you speaking ill of, you know, people that got slain unjustly in the
That's right.
black community, things that led to, you know, black people taking to the street and having mass protests, things that's near and dear to the black community. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about any of that. Hot 97, what's the other one? The Breakfast Club. When they got done interviewing Noriega, they went right back and put on some drill music where black people rapped about killing black people. And as long as you stay away from what we want you to stay away from, you all good, right? So you just see this. And this is why we need reparations, right? And I'll just end on that note. Like, this is why, not so we can say anti-Semitic thing, not so we can be black racist, but so we can be free, right? And so we can have conversations and dialogues about touchy subjects, and we can't be canceled, right? So we can speak the truth, right? You know, with freedom, you get to embellishing those constitutional rights, and that's what we mean about we was never able to access freedom in America, right? And that's why we push so hard for reparations, not so we can become billionaires and millionaires, but so we can have stable American freedom communities, right? And we can push and lobby politicians, and we can get to a status where we can actually bring um the wrath of capitalism down on people who disrespect our community. And I'll end on that note.
Indeed. Excellent. Excellent breakdown, man. And you brought up during our conversations earlier, you brought up what the hell is this guy's name? Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up. Donald Sterling, which is a pseudonym, right? And let me pull that up. And you made a point, and I want you to just kind of reiterate that point. You see Donald Sterling right now. His net worth is worth 4.1 billion. I don't think there's anything that can be taken from this man to make his net worth drop by half, right? So if my memory serves me correctly, the point that you were making was that this man was able to say racist stuff about Magic Johnson, and the only thing he was forced to do was sell the team. Can you go into that a little bit?
So yeah, he was forced to sell the team, but he wasn't forced to disconnect from all of his businesses. And the reason he was forced to sell the team is because the NBA prides itself on showing grace to black players, right? It's one of the mechanisms in which, if you compare this to the Hunger Games, it's one of the mechanisms in which they sell this false facade of meritocracy in America, meaning if you work hard enough, you too can become successful, especially when you're able to turn on the TV every night or go online and see all these black men, running up and down the court, living the American dream, making millions and millions of dollars, right? And now social media has got it to where, you get to see everything that goes on in their lifestyle. They even go back in their homes and, just show you all of the affluence and lavishness of becoming an NBA player and, being part of the 1%. So when Donald Sterling said what he said, America knows this is a white supremacist system, and nobody understands it more than those at the top, white capitalists. But what it does is it causes a ripple effect in the matrix that they have black people in, right? So what they did is they kicked Donald Sterling out of the boys club, out of the NBA boys club, but they didn't kick him out of the white wealth boys club like they trying to do Kanye. See, what they trying to do with Kanye, they're trying to destroy him so he doesn't have that platform anymore. They're trying to break him down to where when he does say something, he won't even have an audience to speak to, right? He won't have his money. If you go to I'm not Kanye, but if you go to Kim Kardashian's Twitter page, she's saying, "Hey, anti-Semitic rhetoric will not be." I'm like, shut up! Like, come on, man! Like, what type of right do you have taken up for somebody against the man that you got 4 kids with, right? You just shut up and do nothing, but you can just see, how entrenched they are when it comes to certain celebrities to have us turn on each other, right? You got the mother of the children turning on the father of the children publicly when she stood up there and defended that LGBTQ guy Star, when he was going at black people, she said, well, he's redeemable. But I guess her husband isn't redeemable. And that's just how just the outreach of that community. So Sterling he sold his team. He sold his team above market value. He was able to keep all of the other assets that he had. Nobody came after his businesses. Nobody wanted to know what other businesses he had. They just said, you can't be in this area of economic development, right? Because this is one of our main holes that we have on the black community. And he was able to go on and buy up more property and keep the property that he has. And you can see now he's about double the wealth that he was about 5 years ago, right? This won't happen with Kanye. This is another way to show no bank that I've heard of told Donald Sterling, you got to get your money out of our bank, right? He's still tied into the community that he was born into and that supports him, right? And they didn't have a backlash against him when he said what he said. It was us, and it was the NBA that said we got to get you out. But as you can see, he's doing fine. You won't see this with Kanye, right? I don't think you'll see Oprah, Jay-Z, and Tyler Perry corral around him and help him get into some other, economic institutions and other ways of earning money. It just doesn't work like that for us. It only works like that for other people, right? Um, White supremacists don't really get fired. They just get transferred. They get transferred over to other industries and get other jobs. And that's basically on every level, from your racist police who goes rogue to your mainstream media personality up into your top 1%, right? They just transfer over. Even if they got to transfer industries, there's a way for them to, kind of jump ship. You won't see that with Kanye West. What you'll see is, he'll be economically hanging from a tree, and he'll be put on display for everybody else to see, and they'll say let him hang, and anybody go near him and help him out and try to cut him down and give him a proper burial, we are going to ostracize you too.
Well, excellent, excellent breakdown, and it goes to show that that's why I went through the whole Hamitic, Semitic thing, right? Because I wanted to show that there's a powerlessness with us as a people, and I think that's why this American freedman term, which trended on Twitter for the first time yesterday, right? We got to shout out to all the family that's pushing our political status. It scares people. It scares people because now we get to move outside of the construct that they created for us, which keeps us in a position of inferiority. We start to move away from that. It's like, okay, well, we don't want to do race. And me and Ali is going to come on one of these days, and we are going to do the unconstitutionality of blackness. Like, we're gonna get in. See, we've been prepared to do this political work right here. I brought up earlier how people keep bringing up that from the Moorish movement. He was a Moor. I'm still a Moor. Many of those teachings I still hold near and dear to my chest. Many of those teachings, they keep me from, they keep me from doing some things. They really, really do. I'll just say that. And so in that, we bring an understanding with, I'll mention these people because I always mention them in the negative because they're just negative. Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore. When I first started rocking with the ADOS movement, when we, right? And this is before Ibrahim was rocking with them, I believe, before we started rocking with them. I did study. Somebody hit me up and they were, hey, bro, you need to check out the ADOS movement. And I'm like, I don't follow fads. I said, I keep seeing this hashtag, or I said every couple years there's some new Hashtag power. And the dude was like, no, it's not like that. It's not what you think. Now, if one of my bros would have told me that, then I would have jumped on it. I would have did the research then. But the brother, I can't remember who the brother was. I got to be honest. And I do remember. He was from out of South Carolina. Matter of fact, I remember the brother. And he was saying, nah, this is something different. And then one day, I decided to look into them and what they were talking about. And I said, yeah, because the brother felt that what I was doing was in line with what they were doing. And so I watched some of the videos. I listened to the breakdown, and it made sense to me because I understood politics at some level. I understood blackness at another level, blackness and whiteness. And one of the things that Yvette Carnell would often say, and I believe she says that to this day, people are crazy. They'll switch up. They'll switch up just because. So let me see if I can find this picture I did. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can pull that up. And one of the things that, it's not a picture, it's a whole PowerPoint. One of the things that she would often say was that blackness was a problem. That blackness itself was this problematic thing. And I'm like, ain't that something? Because this is something that that we've been saying for years. And I did this picture right here years ago. I guess it'll come up. It was a part of a PowerPoint that I was going to do. This was more recently. See if this comes up, right? And it's the black and white myth. And I don't know if you can see the wording. It says, are you black? Are they white? And I remember the joke that I made when I first found that picture. I think somebody sent it to me. And I was like, call National Geographic. A black man has been found. It's on my old Facebook page. You go look on my old Facebook page and you'll be able to see this picture, and you'll see the jokes and everybody laughing and putting the laughing emojis underneath the image, right? And I just altered it's the same picture. I just altered it, inverted the colors, and obviously took the afro off. And I wanted to do a visual highlight to show blackness and whiteness, because people are sensitive to this issue of blackness. They're sensitive to it. And they don't understand. Let me see if I have any of these other files in here. Oh, I do. Let me see. That's the source. Okay, so these earliest sources, right? This is from 1905. Black man, black gentleman, the devil. Notice the date, 1606. This idea of calling us black is rooted in seeing us as the devil. I got a bunch of sources that I can pull up. I had started this PowerPoint, but obviously I never finished it. Let me see, man, I had a bunch of stuff on here. So we see, right, this is from another source. No, this is from this source right here. And it shows, this is from a dictionary of English phrases, phraseological allusions, catchwords, stereotyped modes of speech and metaphors, nicknames. I don't know what the hell that word is. So I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Derivations from personal names, etc., with explanations and thousands of exact references to their source or early usage, right? And it shows where it says the black man, the devil. Now, people could say, yeah, that's because the white man made us that. And the white man, let me put the camera on focus on me real quick. Again, I have brown skin. You can clearly see that my skin is brown. You can see that my beard is black. My shirt is black. My my beanie is black. Like you can see that these things that I have on are black. You can clearly see that. And yet, we were given this name and we adopted it under racial classifications. And it was given definitions. But the earliest definitions show that it meant the devil. Remember, that other source goes back to 1606. Show me people in the African continent in the 1600s calling themselves the black people or the Negroes, etc. And I know people have an emotional attachment to this name. This is just a preview of what me and Ali are going to get into. But it is why we're having a lot of the confusion that's going on right now, and why we see a lot of people trying to create dissension in the reparationist ranks because they want to hold on to their brand and their thing. We don't care nothing about that. We stand on the truth. We stand on the truth and we back up every single thing that we teach. If somebody can prove that they have the skin tone of the image pictured, black or white, well, then let's start offering out some $500 cash app prizes.
Naheem, you also got to think when it comes in terms of America that we are less intellectual and able to receive new information, even when it's factual based, and more traditionalist, right? So we've been fed black, and most of our lives, right? Especially for somebody like me, I've been using the term black. So when you do understand black being problematic, it's kind of hard to let go, right? Because just the tradition of using it. I even come up against a problem when trying to describe our people. In the spaces that we've created, right, we can say American freedmen. But in other spaces, I'm like, if I say American freedmen, is it going to take away from the message that I'm trying to send to my people, right? Because we're just so stuck. And, we was having a conversation earlier, just about our people being slow when it comes to new information, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something I've noticed. Like we're America, not just American freedmen or Black Americans, all Americans, right? It's more tradition than it is anything else, right? Um, just in Islam, right? They give this hadith of somebody coming in the masjid, making two rakats, making a prayer before the main prayer, right? And it's tradition that everybody basically do it, even though the hadith goes to say that the person was asked to do that so he would pray in front of everybody and they could see how raggedy his clothes was and they would know that he needed some help. But they disregard that part and they just do it because he do it, right? And these are supposed to be learned people. It's just we are a country of traditions, right? No matter what it is, you do it because you seen your forefathers doing it. And it's hard to break away from that. So when we get hit with race, even though race is a barrier to us doing things that we want to do politically to advance ourselves, we keep falling back on this tradition, whether it be blackness, flat blackness, global blackness, pan-Africanness. We're just tied to these things, and you see it from people even in this movement that's been enlightened. Sometimes they'll just be talking and a question will come up and they'll revert back to what they used to know, right? And it's like, it's not all the way out, right? So that's just something we have to work on as we, gear up to move this thing forward. That we got to divorce a lot of those old ways and those old intellectual concepts that we once carried that now has become a barrier when you move from these quasi rhetoric spaces to a political space where your information has to be precise. So that's just one thing to think about.
And that's the key here, right? And I think that that's starting to rub people the wrong way, right? We're trying to get it right for 40 to 50 million of us. We're like, this ain't about Naheem or Ibrahim or Ali or BTP. This ain't about just Friday Jones or Brother Chad or Sister Camille. Like, this isn't about no one individual or some small group of individuals. This is about the collective, the leaders. And I got to address this Professor Black Truth guy. I got to address this guy because he lied and said that, and I'm going to quote what he said, that Tariq Nasheed led the way in Cali on the California task force and race lineage-based, reparations, and other California activists. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's the debate that's going on the Twitter wall right now. And I was kind of distracted because I was addressing some people that say, well, he didn't lie. No, he did lie. That was the people in Cali that did that. The people in Cali reached out to the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen /BTP to help with the Freedmen language that we see in or seen displayed in the presentations that people like the chairperson of the chairwoman of the task force, Sister Camilla, I mean, she gave us a shout out. Like, we don't talk about certain stuff because we never wanted to sound like bragging. And I've pulled back on saying a lot of stuff because people try to do that. And I don't want other people to like misconstrue anything into thinking that, you know, we may have done more than what was, you know, because it's not like that. I feel we played a minor role. Either way, the family came to us. And they asked us, could they help with the Freedmen language, particularly on the disaggregation bill. The family, when Sister Camilla was giving her presentation, and this is to this Professor Black Truth guy, these phantoms, because I don't know who these guys, and I like addressing people in person. But I don't know these guys. So they can talk at me from behind their veils. I'm talking to them directly. Professor Black Truth, Jason Black, whoever these phantoms are that everybody seems to uphold in this space. It was CJET. It was NASD. NAASD. Some of them don't like NASD. NAASD. It was, who else am I missing, man? CJET, NAASD. I mean, these were the main two, and there's some overlap on the membership there. It was individuals in California that helped push that over the hump. In the beginning, people like Sister Tara Perry, like Angela Nirvana, and I just found that out by looking at the thread, right? And these were the people that were at the beginning of that thing. So for Professor Black Truth, like, to be a professor, first and foremost, let me help this brother out because I don't know if he knows what that means. To be a professor, you have to stand up in front of the people and give correct information. You can't just sound professorial. That's not how this thing works. To be correct about the stuff that you're speaking about. And these phantoms were already addressed on the thread when they were slandering Sister Camilla Moore, because people are on my thread on Twitter right now like, yeah, I don't understand why y'all coming to. I'm going to say what I said in the space the other day. If these guys would have said that they got it wrong, right? Because we jumped out there. It's like, damn, this sister is fighting for reparations in California. And it's not just her. It's a whole task force. And why is she the only one getting attacked? That was one of the points that I was going to bring up tonight. Well, it's black feminists out there helping to attack Kanye. Black feminists were on the internet calling Clarence Thomas the N-word. Why are you attacking the black person? Like, it's a bunch of other people that voted to overturn Roe that sits on that court. There were black women that were saying, we give white folks the excuse, a pass, excuse me, to use the N-word. I'm like, what is going on? What's going on here? And we seen the same thing with Sister Camilla. People attacking Sister Camilla. And I said what I said about them guys, and whoever rocks with them, I want that to be clear. As we trying to do reparations over here. And what they're doing in Cali, that leadership from the real leaders is setting a standard. It's setting a standard by which we can go to the federal government and have a blueprint and make some moves. I see some of the comments. Like, I don't rock with these phantoms. And after the whole debacle with the reparations, the successful reparations march that we had, I stopped rocking with a whole lot of cats. You know, people, like I say all the time, you got people that's in certain lanes and on this highway, and everybody is not in the same party bus. We got our party bus over here. Some other cats got their own party bus, et cetera, et cetera. The respect is mutual in that we're driving towards the same destination. But see, what we doing with our party bus is every time we make a pit stop, we augment it. We start widening it out, start adding seats, because we trying to bring more people along in this fight by teaching and educating and advocating. That's what we do. That's what we do over here. So a lot of what I'm seeing from what I'm now going to call the other side, you know, this oppish, I keep hearing this term, this oppish behavior. Who's this oppish behavior? Who? Because it ain't coming from this side. It ain't coming from this side, because we stand on anything, and we don't mind pulling up anywhere. We absolutely don't. Well, I like to meet people face to face. That's why I said when I was at the march this past Sunday, I was, you know, I wasn't in MC mode. I was in militant mode. I kind of was waiting for something to happen. I just got to be honest with you. There's people telling me it was strange looking crackers walking around like they was scoping something out. They told me that after the fact, because I would have been on point I was on point for everything, but I couldn't see what was behind me because I was just focused on that stage area. It's like somebody try to do something stupid, they're going to wake up in the ambulance. That's all I could think about, you know? So let me see. Let me pull this one up. Sister Shanna. NAASD spokesperson Chad Brown invited to give expert testimony to AB 3121 California Reparations Task Force on the modern reparations move. Like, you know, so these are some of the articles, right? Chris Larson. Like, shout the leaders out. I don't know what this Professor Black Truth dude is trying to do, but he lied. I hope somebody is taping and recording and whatever. Post this up with the little red flags, because nah, we ain't doing that over here, you know. And like I said, I don't know if the people that I shouted out. Let me go to my thread. Let me go to my thread, because there's other people that was saying that other people was a part of it. I'm getting messages saying other people wasn't a part of it. I don't know, but the people that I know for certain that was a part of it is the ones that I shouted out. Matter of fact, yeah, let's go to the thread. Let's do this. Let me play with this Professor Black Truth said. It was disrespectful to me. Disrespectful.
Your reparations task force was announced. Again, a good idea, but it wasn't Gavin Newsom's idea. And while it did set a few good precedents, such as a declaration of lineage-based reparations, shout out to Brother Tariq and the other West Coast activists for leading the way on that one.
That's just false. That's just false. The leaders are the people that I named. Sister Camilla Moore, the chair of the Cali Task Force, CJ, NAASD, and BTP's role. It was a minor role, and I say that in a response to one of the heads. But you know, American freedmen. Let me pull that next tweet up. I said, y'all keep letting these phantoms lie to y'all, but we got receipts from the actual leaders in Cali. Y'all see why I don't rock with none of these cats. So let me read, because we brought up Brother Chad, one of the leaders in Cali. He says, California, you know, this was the shout out that he gave to us. California is the first state to disaggregate, delay Black/African American data and recognize freedmen as an identifier. Shout out to the brothers of Be the Power who contributed to this language, which is now a part of the California State Code. So when I hear this Professor Black Truth making these unfounded claims that he has no proof of, I'm going to call him out. We ain't letting nobody take credit for something that the family out there worked so hard to, you know, come on, man, you crazy? Nah, no. You know, people going to take it how they want to take it. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to keep working over here. We gonna keep working over here. I don't rock with these Professor Black Truth, Jason, but I just don't rock. I don't listen to their content. I don't care to hear anything that these guys have to say. Once they prove themselves to be liars. Once dude was on a thread talk about the Black South strategy. I was tagged in a thread, and this dude was talking about the Black South strategy, and he was talking about it with the Black Homeland guys. And like I said, we don't agree with all of their stuff. We just agree with the Black South strategy. And this guy said something to the effect of, I think it was buying back the block. I can't recall actually, so don't cite me on that directly, but it was something crazy. I was, what? So you're shitting on plans that we feel is the only thing that's going to save us in this country, concentrating our numbers in states where we already have high populations to reach majorities in this state. Just shitting on that plan for, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, buy back the block, stay where you are, and buy back the block rhetoric. I listen to it. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Oppish? No, that's oppish to me. Because you can't provide no other plan. Because you can't show me, nobody could ever buy back the block stuff work. As simple as that. As simple as that. So, you know, shout out to the people that helped with that legislation. Sister Angela Nirvana, she was there in the early stages. CJEC, everybody in CJEC chat, like the leaders need recognition. And we don't get tens of thousands of views on here, but the people that's tapped in, the real ones, they listening in. And you know, we gonna recognize the real leaders that put that work in on that California reparations move, whether it was AB 3121 or SB. Somebody help me. I forget the number. I think it's SB 931. But my listening in from Cali, y'all help me out with the number. You know, so we gotta speak to that. We can't because I don't know what these guys' motives are. You know, I'm hoping somebody is clipping this. Because we don't mind responding to responses. Not over here. We don't mind responding to responses. So I hope somebody, SB 189. Thank you. A CJEC written bill. Let me pull that up. CJEC wrote that bill. I don't know what this Professor Black Truth guy is talking about. He's obviously not tapped into the grassroots. Obviously. And if he's not tapped into the grassroots, then I don't see why people are listening to these guys. For real. Because you obviously don't know what's going on. You giving credit to the wrong people, my man. So we said what we had to say on the Kanye thing. I didn't even get a chance to play all of the videos and pull up some of the stuff that I wanted to pull up because I wanted to show how we get disrespected. How we get disrespected, and we have to just bend over and you can call our people the N-word niggers, right? I don't think YouTube is gonna strike for nigga. You can't use no other epithet for no other people. Hell, they might strike the channel if you say Jew. They might strike it just for saying the word, which is absolutely crazy. And maybe one day we'll get into who the true people of God are. I don't subscribe to Hebrew Israelite ideology, but I'm somewhat of a historian in that regard, and so I know some things about the true tribe of Judah from a historical perspective. Like I could pull up artifacts and things of that nature. Might do that one day. I'm not sure. You know. So Sister Shanna said too many social folks don't know what all has been done and still being done. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ms. Battle said, I think some of these people are new and wasn't around when all of this started. And I think, to be honest with you, that these phantoms are trying to take people off of the path of the true leaders in this space because they want to keep their channels popping. And once people start to realize that, why am I listening to these guys when the people that's doing the real work is over here? They have channels, Politic and Black, Amend the Media. Is it Amend the Media or Amend the Mass Media? Like they have channels, Be the Power. Why am I listening to these people? It's like you can't say nothing about this one or that one, man. F them people, all of them. Point blank, period. All of them. Make sure y'all clipping this and put it up on y'all YouTubes with the red flags. I told people that we didn't get into this thing for battling with other people over this issue of reparations. We got into this thing to fight against white supremacists and the buffer class boule Negroes, if you will, that want to just keep us on what some call the Democratic plantation. You're like, hell no, we see what's going on. We peep game. ETM Media Group, Politics in Black, NAASDLA. Make sure y'all go subscribe to those channels. Make sure y'all checking out Brother Chris Larson as he's doing the readings every Monday night from the California Report on reparations. I try to catch it every single Monday night. And I did a tweet last night that said, notice the real students of this reparations movement are almost always in this room. Almost always in this room. CJEC, Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, one of 7 community anchor organizations selected to support the task force. See, this the Cali fam putting us up on what's going on right now, family. This the Cali fam talking. People that's out there, putting boot to ground. Straight up. We've been at since the former group and never stopped. This is how CJEC was formed. By former group, she means the hashtag, the ADOS movement that I was speaking of earlier, that we thought was based on lineage, but it was about worship of the leaders of that movement. And that's why I call these people that was coming at me with FBA in their profile Follow and Swallow 2.0, because they was giving off that ADOS, Yvette Carnell, Antonio Moore energy. giving off that energy. Nah, we ain't letting this stuff slide no more. We not letting it rock. So I wanted to end with, going at this Professor Black Truth guy. Get it right or shut up about it, dude. Because it's not like we're going to see each other. We're going to make videos back and forth. I'm not going to go back and forth with a phantom. I will point out the stuff that he got wrong, though, and that this dude is displaying what the other side is calling oppish behavior. I'll prove that without a shadow of a doubt. I got a bunch of stuff already read up and ready to go, actually. So Tech Hunter said at 10 p.m. West Coast time, that's 1 a.m. here in Detroit. Can't do it. I definitely understand. No. That's right. That's right. No. Dude, yeah, he does start at 10 West Coast time. He does start at 10 West Coast time. Now, we don't know who these people are. They said that they don't want people to know who they are, as if the government can't track. It's like you hiding from us. You ain't hiding from the government. They know who you are. They listen to your pre-recorded videos before you ever even upload them. So you ain't hiding from them. You're hiding from us. Hiding from us. So, you attack the family, we gonna come at you. We gonna come at you. And I'm like I said, I got some stuff. I got some stuff loaded in my chambers, ready to go. Ready to go. So it is what it is. And we don't do no silly stuff over here. We just do the facts. That's it. Just the facts. Just the facts. So, fam, let me get up off of here, man. For those of you that came late, make sure you go back, watch the video from the beginning. I should have had that picture up too. If you want to support the platform, because we are trying to grow, right? We don't have thousands and thousands of viewers. We don't do sensationalism and other corny stuff over here. Just teach. And I think some people find that boring. And that's cool. I ain't mad at that. But at the end of the day, how Cam said, we moving the movement. Get them, girls. We moving the movement, right? We helping to move this movement forward. And so stay tuned. We got some more content coming. We're going to do some interviews with some hip hop legends, like some founding fathers or near founding fathers coming soon. Me and Ali will be doing a breakdown on the unconstitutionality of blackness. We're going to really dig into that thing. We're going to go in. So I don't know. Give me a shape up before we do that one. I had to jump on here tonight. Talk a little bit about this topic of us being disrespected, putting into the ethers that we might need to form something, and when somebody disrespects us, call it anti-Hamitic, being that historically we have been represented, not just historically, religiously as well. We have been represented by the eponymous character. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Eponymous or eponymous. I think it's eponymous. I've heard it pronounced eponymous as well. Honors Sister Yas is Blue for the contribution to the platform. Good night, Sister Miss Battle. And what else? Oh, the anti-Hamitic, whenever they come at us. But that might require something spiritual that we may need to attach to, which is also something that I'm working on, that I plan on for next year. 777. 777. I might get, get back to teaching again on my Lord Abba channel. I have a YouTube channel that just says Lord Abba. If y'all want to subscribe, go subscribe to that channel, because I might get the teaching on that channel and start getting into some of the spiritual stuff, because a lot of that guides the policy that was first crafted in this nation. There's a breakdown that Abraham Lincoln gave that was so fire on the spiritual reasons why he did what he did when it came to the abolishing or the abolition of slavery. I meant to say that I think I need to go in on that and flesh that out. Me and my brother Grim, of course, I got to pull Grim on with that one. Grim's tired. He tired of people. People don't know, man. Some of the people that we rock with, they different, man. They not just people that, could get on behind this YouTube channel and talk that talk. Like, man, I ain't even gonna go there, but I might do that. I might do that. So I'm gonna leave you all with the motto of the platform, which is, don't just fight the power, become the power, and then and only then will you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.